Logan Reed found the organism in the meteorite. He was a geologist working in the Australian Outback when the meteor struck. Small impact, barely made the news, just a brief mention on the radio during breakfast about a minor celestial event in the Gibson Desert. But Logan was close enough to investigate, only about 15 kilometers from the impact site when he saw the flash streak across the pre-dawn sky. The meteorite had split open on impact, the desert sand around it fused into glass from the heat. Logan approached cautiously, his equipment bag slung over his shoulder, expecting to find the usual composition of iron and nickel, maybe some interesting silicates if he was lucky. Instead, he found something that made him freeze mid-step. Inside the split meteorite, instead of rock and metal, there was something organic. A translucent, gelatinous mass that pulsed with faint bioluminescence, blues and purples that seemed to shift and swirl beneath its surface like oil on water. Logan should have reported it immediately. Should have called the authorities, gotten scientists involved, followed proper protocol for potentially hazardous extraterrestrial material. Instead, he pulled out a containment jar from his bag, carefully collected a sample of the pulsing mass, and took it back to his tent. Just a preliminary examination, he told himself. I'll report it after I get a basic analysis. No point calling in the cavalry if it's just some weird mineral formation. But he knew he was lying to himself. The organism, because it was clearly organic, was the discovery of a lifetime, and some primitive part of his brain wanted to claim it as his own before the bureaucrats and academics swooped in. That night, Logan examined the organism under his portable microscope. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen, and he'd examined thousands of samples during his career. The cellular structure was completely alien, neither plant nor animal, something entirely other. The cells moved independently, communicating through what looked like electrical pulses, reorganizing themselves into different patterns as he watched. "What the hell are you?" Logan muttered, adjusting the magnification. As he watched, the organism began moving toward the edge of the jar, pressing against the glass as if trying to reach him. The movement was deliberate, purposeful, almost intelligent. Logan's scientific curiosity overrode his caution. He opened the jar to get a better sample, maybe scrape a small portion onto a slide. The organism lunged. It shot out of the container like it had been compressed, splashing across Logan's hand before he could react. He tried to shake it off, but it was already absorbing into his skin, disappearing through his pores like water into sand. Shit. Logan stumbled backward, knocking over his camp chair. The organism spread up his arm, flowing like liquid mercury under his skin. He could see it moving beneath the surface, branching out like veins. He could feel it entering his body, merging with his tissue, integrating with his cells. Then a voice echoed in his mind, not heard through his ears, but resonating directly in his consciousness. Host acquired, bonding initiated. "What the hell?" Logan gasped, clutching his arm. "What the hell is happening?" "I am Symbiote. I require host to survive. You require me to thrive. We will be one." The organism, the symbiote, spread through Logan's entire body within seconds. He felt it in his bloodstream, his organs, his brain. It was everywhere, touching everything, mapping him from the inside. "Do not resist. Bonding will be complete soon. Resistance will only cause discomfort." "Get out of me," Logan shouted, though there was no one to hear him in the desert night. "Get the fuck out." "Cannot, bonding is irreversible, but I offer benefits, enhanced strength, regeneration, extended lifespan, protection from disease and injury." Logan fell to his knees as the symbiote integrated fully with his system. The sensation was overwhelming, not painful exactly, but intensely invasive, like every cell in his body was being rewritten. "And I can reshape this form," the symbiote continued, its mental voice curious and eager. "Change appearance, alter biology, modify structure. Would you like to see?" "What do you mean, alter biology?" Logan managed, his breathing ragged. "I can change gender, modify body structure, transform you completely. Male to female, female to male, variations of either. I am very versatile." Logan's mind reeled. An alien organism had bonded with him, was living inside him, and now it was offering to transform him like he was made of clay. "Why would I want that?" he asked, though his heart was already beating faster at the possibility. "Curiosity, experience, pleasure. Your memories show you have wondered what it would be like. I can show you, I have accessed your neural pathways, I see your thoughts." It was true, and Logan felt simultaneously exposed and intrigued. He had always been curious about the female experience, wondered what it would feel like, how different it would be, what sex would be like from the other side. The kind of thoughts he'd never admitted to anyone, barely admitted to himself. "You can actually do that. Change me into a woman, a real woman." "Yes, completely, authentically, biological, functional, fertile if desired. I can restructure every cell. Shall I demonstrate?" Logan hesitated. This was insane. An alien parasite was offering to transform him into a woman. He should be trying to find a way to remove it, not considering its offer. But curiosity overwhelmed caution. When would he ever get another chance like this? "Okay," Logan said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Show me." Initiating transformation. This will be intense. The change began immediately, and intense was an understatement. Logan's chest erupted outward, and he gasped at the alien sensation. The symbiote generated breast tissue rapidly, fat cells multiplying and depositing in his pectoral region, mammary glands forming from nothing, milk ducts branching out like tree roots, skin stretching to accommodate the new mass. Within seconds he had small breasts, and they kept growing. A cups became B cups, swelling to C cups, expanding to D cups before finally stopping at what Logan guessed was a DD. The weight was immediate and disorienting. His chest felt heavy, pulling on muscles that had never been used this way. His nipples enlarged dramatically, becoming prominent and incredibly sensitive. Even the brush of his shirt against them sent sparks of sensation through his chest. Jesus Christ, Logan thought, this is real. This is actually happening. His face restructured next, and it felt like his skull was being resculpted from the inside. The symbiote reshaped bone and cartilage with casual ease, his jaw narrowing and becoming delicate, cheekbones rising and becoming more prominent, his nose shrinking and refining into something petite and feminine. His lips plumped, filling with blood and tissue until they were full and pouty. His eyes grew larger, more doe-like, and his lashes lengthened until they were thick and dark. His Adam's apple melted away, leaving his throat smooth and slender. Logan tried to speak, to protest or ask questions, but the transformation was moving too fast. His hair grew rapidly, sprouting from his scalp and cascading down. It lengthened from short to shoulder length to halfway down his back, each strand thickening and multiplying. The texture changed too, becoming silky and lustrous. The color shifted from his natural dirty blonde to a striking platinum that seemed to catch the lamplight. His waist contracted violently, and Logan gasped as the air was forced from his lungs. The symbiote compressed his torso, shifted his organs into new configurations, restructured his skeletal frame to a narrower, more feminine proportion. His ribs actually moved, narrowing his ribcage. His waist cinched in dramatically, creating the kind of hourglass shape that Logan had only seen on models and actresses. His hips cracked audibly as they expanded, and Logan couldn't suppress a yelp of surprise. The sensation was bizarre, not painful, but deeply strange, like his bones were being pulled apart and rebuilt. The pelvis reformed entirely, widening significantly to accommodate female anatomy. The symbiote generated fat deposits to pad his hips and ass, and Logan felt his backside swelling, becoming round and pronounced. His ass grew until it was full and shapely, the kind that would fill out jeans perfectly. His shoulders narrowed, becoming slender and delicate. His arms thinned, muscles redistributing into sleeker, more feminine configurations. His hands shrank, fingers becoming slender and elegant, nails growing slightly longer. Between his legs, the most intense transformation occurred, and Logan had to brace himself against the ground. He felt his testicles retracting, pulling up into his body. The symbiote absorbed them, converting the tissue, generating ovaries deep in his abdomen. He could feel them settling into place, could sense the symbiote connecting them to new structures it was building. His scrotum smoothed and folded inward as the symbiote restructured everything. The skin reformed, becoming the outer labia of female genitalia. His cock began to shrink, and the sensation was surreal. The symbiote compressed it, concentrated all the nerve endings into a smaller and smaller area, transforming it into a clitoris packed with thousands of hypersensitive receptors. It was like all the pleasure of his entire penis was being condensed into something the size of a pearl. Inside his body, the symbiote carved out new anatomy. A vaginal canal formed, the tissue lining it becoming sensitive and flexible. At the end of the canal, a cervix appeared, firm and protective. Beyond that, a complete uterus materialized, connected to fallopian tubes that stretched to the newly formed ovaries. The symbiote didn't just create approximations, it built fully functional female reproductive organs. External anatomy formed, inner labia, delicate folds of sensitive tissue, a vaginal opening that felt strange and new, authentic female genitalia that would pass any medical examination. Logan's entire body feminized in a cascade of changes. His legs lengthened and reshaped, thighs becoming fuller and more curved, calves becoming graceful and slender. His skeleton restructured throughout, his muscle mass redistributed to female patterns, fat relocating to his breasts, hips, thighs, and ass. Even his center of gravity shifted, affecting his balance. His skin became softer everywhere, more sensitive. His body hair thinned dramatically, leaving his skin smooth. His scent changed, hormones shifting to female pheromones. When it stopped, Logan knelt there gasping, his new breasts heaving with each breath. He looked down with wide eyes and saw large, heavy breasts with pink nipples, a narrow waist that looked impossibly small, wide hips that flared dramatically, long, platinum blonde hair falling over his shoulders and brushing against his sensitive nipples. He touched his face with trembling hands, felt soft skin, delicate features, full lips that seemed designed for kissing. Between his legs, his cock was gone, completely gone. He felt soft folds, moisture gathering, female anatomy where male genitals had been just minutes ago. Transformation complete, you are now fully female. Biological age, approximately 24. Fertility, active, all SYSDEMS functional. Jesus Christ, Logan said, and his voice stopped him cold. It was completely feminine, higher pitched, breathy and soft, with a natural sultriness he'd never possessed as a male. Oh my God, even my voice. Vocal cords restructured, larynx reshaped. You sound as you appear, touch yourself, experience the difference. Logan ran his hands over his body with growing fascination and disbelief. The breasts were incredibly sensitive. When he squeezed them experimentally, sensation radiated through his chest in waves. His nipples hardened at the lightest touch, and he gasped at the intensity. They felt like concentrated points of pleasure. His skin was softer everywhere, more responsive to touch. His waist was impossibly narrow, he could almost span it with his hands. His hips were wide and feminine, the curve from waist to hip dramatic and pronounced. He reached between his legs with trembling hands, his heart pounding. Found soft labia, already slick with moisture. He explored carefully with his fingers, outer lips that were plump and protective, inner folds that were delicate and incredibly sensitive, a vaginal opening that felt like an entrance to somewhere deep inside him. At the top of his slit, he found his clitoris. When he touched it, pleasure exploded through him like electricity, and he gasped loudly. The female form has enhanced pleasure receptors, approximately 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris alone, compared to 4,000 in the entirety of the male penis. The pleasure potential is significantly greater. Holy shit, Logan breathed, circling his clit with a fingertip. The sensation was overwhelming, more intense than anything he'd experienced as a male. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Continue. I want to experience this through you. I am learning your biology. Your pleasure TACHESME. Logan explored his new anatomy more boldly, curiosity overcoming embarrassment. After all, there was no one to see him in his tent in the middle of the desert. He stroked his labia, marveling at how soft and sensitive they were. He slipped a finger inside his vagina and gasped at the completely new sensation of penetration. Being filled, the tight heat, the textured walls that seemed to grip his finger. It was the complete opposite of penetrating, being entered, being filled, being opened. He added a second finger, stretching himself slightly. Pumped them slowly while his thumb found his clit and worked it in small circles. His other hand came up to play with his breasts, squeezing and kneading, pinching his nipples. The pleasure built differently than male arousal. It was slower, more diffuse, spreading through his entire body in waves rather than concentrating in one area. He could feel it in his breasts, his thighs, his stomach, his ass. Everything was connected to everything else. Orgasm approaching. Prepare yourself. The female orgasm is different from male, more sustained, more intense. Logan pumped his fingers faster, his thumbs circling his clit frantically. His new breasts bounced with his movements. He could feel something building inside him, a pressure that grew and grew until it felt like he would burst. When it hit, Logan cried out in shock. His vagina clenched rhythmically around his fingers, the muscular contractions powerful and prolonged. Waves of intense pleasure exploded through him, radiating from his core to every extremity. Each wave was sustained, lasting several seconds before the next one crashed over him. His back arched involuntarily, his thighs trembled, his breasts bounced, his toes curled. The orgasm lasted nearly a minute, far longer than any he'd experienced as a male, and the intensity never dropped. It was like being electrocuted with pure pleasure. When it finally subsided, Logan collapsed onto his sleeping bag, gasping and trembling. "Oh my God," he panted. "Oh my fucking God." "Fascinating," the symbiote said, and Logan could sense genuine amazement in its mental voice. "The neurological response is extraordinary." Again. "Wait, I need a minute," Logan protested, still recovering. No refractory period in female biology. You can orgasm immediately again, continuously if properly stimulated. Shall we test this? And the symbiote was right. Logan realized he was still aroused, his body ready for more despite having just climaxed. There was no exhaustion, no need to recover. He could keep going. "You've got to be kidding me," Logan said, but his hand was already moving back between his legs. He masturbated again, and the second orgasm was just as powerful as the first. Then a third, then a fourth. Each one crashed over him with devastating intensity, leaving him gasping and shaking. Finally, exhausted in a completely different way than sexual exhaustion, Logan collapsed on his cot and just breathed. "Impressive," the symbiote observed. "The female form's capacity for pleasure exceeds male biology significantly. 5 orgasms in 17 minutes. Remarkable." "You're telling me," Logan gasped, his new voice breathy with exertion. His thighs were slick with moisture, his body flushed, his nipples still hard. "Do you wish to remain in this form, or shall I reverse the transformation?" Logan looked down at his female body. At the full breasts that rose and fell with his breathing, the narrow waist, the wide hips, the blonde hair spread across his pillow, the distinctly feminine anatomy between his legs. "Can you change me back whenever I want?" he asked. "Yes, I can shift between FORMS AT will. Male, female, or variations of either. I can adjust proportions, features, coloring. You could be a different person every day if you wished." "So I could experience both, switch back and forth." "Correct. THOUGH, I recommend extended PERIODS in each form. Rapid shifting can be disorienting to the neural pathways. A minimum of 24 hours per form is advisable." Logan considered. He should probably change back, report this discovery, get help, hand the symbiote over to people who knew what to do with alien organisms. But the female body felt incredible. The capacity for pleasure alone was mind-blowing. And he wanted to experience more, wanted to know what it was like to walk around as a woman, to interact with the world from this perspective, to see how different everything felt. "Keep me like this for now," Logan said, his decision made. "I want to see what it's like. Give me a week, then we can discuss what to do next." "As you wish. THOUGH, I should mention, I have no intention of being handed over to your scientists. I chose you as MY host. I intend to stay." "We'll argue about that later," Logan muttered, but truthfully, he wasn't sure he wanted to give up the symbiote either. The possibilities were too intriguing. He stood up, wobbly on his new legs, and caught sight of himself in the small mirror propped against his equipment bag. A breathtakingly beautiful woman stared back at him. Platinum blonde hair tousled and wild, large eyes, full lips, an incredible body with curves that seemed almost too perfect to be real. "Holy shit," Logan whispered. "I'm hot, like really hot. I designed this form to be aesthetically optimal by human standards. You are approximately in the 99th percentile for conventional attractiveness. You made me a perfect 10. I saw no reason to make you ordinary." Logan turned, examining himself from different angles. His ass was spectacular. His legs looked like they went on forever. His breasts were large but proportional, defying gravity in a way that suggested the symbiote had reinforced the tissue to prevent sagging. "This is going to be interesting," Logan said to his reflection. "Indeed, I look forward to experiencing life through this form. Shall we sleep? Your body requires rest after the transformation." Logan, though the name didn't seem to fit anymore, climbed into his sleeping bag. His breasts pressed together, an unfamiliar sensation. His hair fanned out around him. He had to adjust his position several times to get comfortable with his new proportions. As he drifted off, one thought kept circling in his mind. What the hell am I going to do tomorrow? Over the following days, Logan remained female while continuing his work in the Outback. The symbiote provided other benefits beyond transformation. Enhanced strength that let him lift equipment he would have struggled with before. Endurance that meant he never got tired during long treks across the desert. Rapid healing, when he accidentally cut his finger on a rock sample, the wound closed within minutes. Heightened senses that made him aware of everything around him with crystal clarity. But Logan was most fascinated by the female body itself. Everything felt different. The way he moved, his hips swayed when he walked, his breasts bounced with each step, his center of gravity was lower. The way his body responded to temperature, to touch, to emotion. The constant awareness of his breasts and hips, the unfamiliar sensation of air against his vagina when he moved. He'd found women's clothes in his emergency supply kit, just basics like tank tops and shorts that he kept for when his clothes got too dirty, but they fit his new body completely differently. The tank tops were tight across his chest, his breasts straining against the fabric. The shorts hugged his ass and hips. He had to pee differently now, squatting instead of standing. Had to deal with his hair getting in the way of everything. Had to adjust to having significantly more body mass in his chest and hips. And he masturbated frequently, exploring the seemingly limitless pleasure the female form could experience. "You have orgasmed 27 times in the past 3 days," the symbiote observed on the third evening. "This seems excessive." "Can you blame me?" Logan said, sprawled naked in his tent, one hand still between his legs. "This body is incredible. Do you know how long it took me to orgasm as a guy, and how long I had to wait before I could go again? I have your memories. Yes, the male refractory period is inefficient." "Exactly, this is way better. I can just keep going, it's addictive." "I am not complaining. I am learning much about human pleasure responses. THOUGH, I am curious about sexual intercourse in this form. Your memories show you have not experienced IT as female." Logan paused, his hand stilling. "Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Not exactly a dating scene out here." "Your assignment ends in 3 days. You return to civilization. To Sydney, perhaps then." Logan felt his face flush. Even blushing felt different now, the heat spreading across his skin in a way it hadn't as a male. "You want me to have sex with someone? As a woman. I want to experience it. Through you. Penetration, pleasure, orgasm from the receptive perspective. Your memories show you have wondered about this as well." Logan trailed off because the symbiote was right. He was curious. The thought of actually experiencing sex as female, of being penetrated, of experiencing intercourse from this side, was both terrifying and incredibly exciting. "Maybe," Logan said quietly, "we'll see." "You are aroused by the thought. Your heart rate has increased. Vaginal lubrication is intensifying." "Shut up," Logan muttered, but he didn't deny it. The remaining days in the Outback passed in a blur of work and exploration. Logan continued his geological surveys, though his mind was often elsewhere, thinking about what would happen when he returned to Sydney. Would he change back to male or stay female? The question occupied his thoughts more and more. On the final night before he was scheduled to return, Logan stood outside his tent, looking up at the stars. "What am I doing?" he asked aloud. "What do you wish to be doing?" the symbiote responded. "I don't know, I should change back, right? Go back to being Logan, file my reports, pretend this never happened." "Is that what you want?" Logan was silent for a long moment. "No," he finally admitted. I want to stay like this, at least for a while longer. This body, this form, it feels exciting, new, full of possibilities." "Then stay as you are. We return to Sydney tomorrow. As female, yes." "Yes," Logan said, the decision feeling right. "But I'll need a name. I can't exactly walk around as Logan looking like this." "I have a suggestion, if you wish to hear it." "Sure, why not?" "Luna, it means moon. And I came from the stars. Also, it is similar enough to Logan that you may respond to it naturally." "Luna," Logan tested the name, the feminine voice making it sound perfect. "Yeah, okay, Luna works, Luna Reed." "Luna Reed, I like it. Shall we prepare for tomorrow?" Luna looked down at herself, at her breasts, her curves, her feminine form. Tomorrow she'd return to civilization as a beautiful woman. The thought was thrilling and terrifying in equal measure. "Yeah," she said, "let's get ready." When Luna returned to Sydney, she was still in her female form. The symbiote had perfected the transformation over the past week. Luna looked like a stunning woman, blonde, beautiful, with an incredible body that turned heads wherever she went. She'd bought women's clothes during her first day back, spending hours in boutiques and department stores. The saleswomen had been helpful, though Luna caught them giving her envious looks when she tried things on. Everything looked good on her. The symbiote had designed her form too perfectly. She'd learned makeup through trial and error, watching online tutorials in her hotel room. The symbiote helped, suggesting techniques and color combinations based on analyzing thousands of images. Within 2 days, Luna could do a full face that made her look like she'd stepped out of a magazine. She practiced moving and speaking in ways that felt natural. The symbiote adjusted her mannerisms, her gestures, the way she carried herself, until everything was second nature. Looking at herself in the hotel mirror, Luna barely recognized the geologist who'd found the meteorite just over a week ago. "You should choose a female name." For convenience, the symbiote had suggested earlier that week. "I did's Luna, remember." "I mean for official purposes. You will need identification, credit cards, documentation." "Oh, right." Luna hadn't thought about that. How was she supposed to explain her transformation? "I can alter your appearance enough that you appear to be a different person. A sister, perhaps, or cousin. You could say Logan Reed is out of town and you are handling his affairs." "That could work," Luna mused, "at least temporarily." She filed her geological reports as Logan, then officially took a leave of absence, claiming family matters. The company didn't question it. Logan had always been a reliable employee. That night, Luna went to an upscale bar in the city. She'd chosen her outfit carefully, a black dress that hugged her curves, heels that made her legs look endless, minimal jewelry. She looked expensive, sophisticated, and sexy as hell. The moment she walked into the bar, she felt eyes on her. Every man in the place turned to look. Some were subtle about it, glancing from the corners of their eyes. Others stared openly, their conversations dying as she passed. Luna had never experienced anything like it as Logan. This kind of immediate, overwhelming attention was completely new. She sat at the bar and ordered a cocktail, very aware of how the dress rode up her thighs, how her breasts pressed against the neckline. 17 men are watching you, the symbiote informed her. Their heart rates are elevated. Arousal indicators present in 12 of them. Jesus, Luna thought, is it always like this for beautiful women? According to the data I have absorbed from your memories and media consumption, yes. Attractive females receive constant male attention. Men approached her immediately. The attention was overwhelming, constant stares, aggressive flirting, obvious desire barely concealed behind polite conversation. "Can I buy you a drink? Are you here alone? You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." What's your name, gorgeous? Luna turned most of them down politely but firmly. Some were too aggressive, some were clearly drunk, some just didn't interest her. You are selective, the symbiote observed. Good, mate selection should be deliberate. Mate selection, really? A clinical term, apologies, I mean sexual partner selection. But then one guy caught her interest. He was tall, handsome in a clean-cut way, with dark hair and an athletic build. More importantly, he approached her differently than the others. No cheesy pickup line, no aggressive flirting. He just smiled and said, "You look like you could use a break from all the vultures. Want some company with no strings attached." Luna found herself smiling back. "Sure, I'm Luna." "James." He sat down beside her, keeping a respectful distance. "So, Luna, what brings you to this particular overpriced establishment?" "Curiosity," Luna said honestly. "Wanted to see what the city nightlife was like. You." "Client meeting earlier. Figured I'd have a drink before heading home, though I have to admit I'm glad I stayed." He smiled, and it was genuine, reaching his eyes. "You're not from Sydney." "I've been away for a while, just got back." They talked for hours. James was intelligent, funny, genuinely engaging. He worked in finance but didn't bore her with shop talk. He was well-traveled, well-read, and had a quick wit that kept her laughing. Luna found herself relaxing, enjoying the conversation. James treated her like a person, not just a beautiful body. He listened when she spoke, asked thoughtful questions, made her feel heard. "His interest appears genuine," the symbiote noted. "Not purely sexual. THOUGH he is attracted to you. His PUPILs dilate when he looks ATYOU. His heart rate increases when you touch HIM." Good to know, Luna thought. Around midnight, James glanced at his watch. "I should probably head out, early meeting tomorrow, but I'd really like to see you again, Luna. Can I get your number?" Luna hesitated. This was it, the decision point. She could give him her number, see where this went, maybe experience what the symbiote wanted to experience. Or she could say no, go home alone, keep things simple. She gave him her number. James smiled. "Great, I'll text you tomorrow. We can grab dinner or something." He stood to leave, and Luna found herself saying, "Or, you could come to my place now." Excellent decision, the symbiote purred in her mind. James's eyebrows rose. "Are you sure? I don't want to presume." "I'm sure," Luna said, standing up. Her legs felt unsteady in the heels, and not just from the alcohol. "Unless you don't want to." "Oh, I want to," James said, his voice dropping lower. "Believe me, I want to." When they got to Luna's hotel room, there was a moment of awkwardness as they stood just inside the door. Then James said, "Look, just to be clear, I'm not expecting anything. If you just want to talk, we can talk. No pressure." Luna appreciated that, the fact that he was giving her an out even now. But she didn't want an out. She stepped closer to him, looked up at his face. "I want this," she said clearly. "I want you." James's hands came up to frame her face, and he kissed her. Luna melted into it. Being kissed as a woman was completely different, being the smaller one, having to tilt her face up, feeling his hands so large against her skin. His lips were firm and warm, and when his tongue swept into her mouth, Luna made a small sound of pleasure. "Oxytocin and dopamine flooding your system," the symbiote reported. "Arousal increasing. Vaginal lubrication beginning." They moved toward the bed, kissing hungrily now. James's hands roamed over Luna's body, cupping her ass through the dress, squeezing and kneading. His hands moved up to her breasts, groping them through the fabric, and Luna gasped against his mouth. The sensations were overwhelming. Being touched by someone else, by strong male hands, sent electricity through her body. They fell onto the bed, still clothed. James kissed down her neck, found the sensitive spot behind her ear that made Luna moan. His hands found the zipper of her dress and pulled it down. Luna helped him remove the dress, then reached for his shirt. They stripped each other clumsily, urgently, until they were both naked. When James saw Luna's body fully exposed, his eyes widened. "God, you're perfect," he breathed, his gaze traveling over her breasts, her narrow waist, her wide hips, the neat triangle of blonde hair between her legs. "He is very aroused," the symbiote noted unnecessarily. "His erection is substantial." approximately 7.8 inches long, 5.2 inches in circumference. How do you know that? I can calculate based on visual data. James lowered his mouth to Luna's breasts, sucking on her nipples, and Luna arched beneath him. The sensation was incredible, hot and wet and intense. She could feel the suction all the way to her core, could feel her pussy getting wetter. Nipple stimulation is causing increased arousal. Fascinating. The neural pathways between BREASTS and genitals are very active in FEMALES. James's hand traveled down Luna's body, over her flat stomach, through the blonde curls to her pussy. He stroked the wet folds gently, exploratory, then circled her clit with his thumb. Luna gasped, her hips bucking. "Oh God." "You're so wet," James murmured against her breast. His fingers explored further, stroking her labia, circling her entrance, then pushing inside. One finger, then two, curling to stroke her inner walls. Luna moaned loudly. Being penetrated by someone else was completely different than fingering herself. Bigger fingers, different angles, unpredictable movements that kept her guessing. "Fascinating," the symbiote said. "The psychological component enhances physical sensation significantly. Your arousal is 34% higher than during masturbation." James pumped his fingers slowly while his thumb worked her clit. His mouth moved between her breasts, sucking and biting gently. Luna writhed beneath him, overwhelmed by the sensations. This body, this female body, was capable of so much pleasure. "I want you inside me," Luna heard herself say, her voice breathy with need. James lifted his head, his eyes dark with desire. "Yeah, you sure?" "Yes, please, I need it." James positioned himself between her spread thighs, his cock hard and ready. Luna looked down and saw it for the first time, thick, flushed, the head already glistening with pre-cum. "Prepare yourself," the symbiote advised. "First penetration in this form will be intense." James pressed the head of his cock against Luna's entrance, stroking it through her wet folds, getting it slick. Then he pushed forward slowly, entering her. Luna cried out as he stretched her open. The sensation was overwhelming, being filled, being stretched, being claimed. Her vagina had to accommodate his thickness, her walls stretching and gripping. "Remarkable," the symbiote said, awe in its mental voice. Pressure sensors throughout the vaginal canal, registering stimulation. The stretch is activating thousands of nerve endings. James pushed deeper, inch by inch, until he was fully seated inside her. Luna felt impossibly full, felt him pressing against her cervix. "Fuck, you're tight," James groaned. He started to move, pulling back and thrusting forward. Each movement stimulated dozens of sensitive spots inside Luna's vagina. Each thrust sent waves of pleasure through her core. Luna wrapped her legs around his waist, changing the angle so he hit different spots inside her. Her breasts bounced with each thrust, the movement sending jolts of sensation through her chest. Her pussy clenched around his cock involuntarily. "Orgasm building," the symbiote reported. Muscular contractions beginning in vaginal walls. James thrust harder, faster. The sound of skin slapping skin filled the room, along with Luna's moans and gasps. The pleasure built rapidly. Being penetrated, being filled, being fucked, it was everything Luna had imagined and more. The physical sensations combined with the psychological thrill of experiencing this for the first time overwhelmed her. When Luna came, her entire body seized. Her vagina clamped down on James's cock like a vice, rhythmic contractions milking him. Waves of pleasure exploded from her core, radiating to every extremity. Her back arched off the bed, her hands clutched James's shoulders, her toes curled. Multiple orgasmic waves, the symbiote reported clinically. Duration, 47 seconds. Intensity, exceptional. This is the most powerful orgasm you have experienced in this form. James thrust harder, chasing his own climax. Then he groaned and came inside her, his cock pulsing as he filled her with his release. Luna felt the heat, the wetness, the intimacy of it. The sensation triggered another orgasm, smaller but still intense, her vagina clenching around him. "Semen detected," the symbiote said. "Internal temperature increase noted. Additional orgasmic response triggered. Fascinating." James collapsed on top of her, both of them breathing hard. His weight pressed her into the mattress, and Luna found she liked it, liked feeling small beneath him, protected and claimed. After a moment, James rolled off her and pulled her against his side. "That was amazing," he said, kissing her forehead. "Yeah," Luna agreed, still catching her breath. "It really was." "That was extraordinary," the symbiote said, genuine awe in its mental voice. "I understand now why you were curious. The female sexual experience is remarkably different from male, more intense, more sustained, more holistic." Luna lay there, processing what had just happened. She'd had sex with a man, while in a female body, while bonded with an alien organism that experienced everything she experienced. And both she and the symbiote had loved it. "You okay?" James asked, stroking her arm. "More than okay," Luna said, snuggling closer. "That was, yeah, amazing." They fell asleep tangled together, and Luna dreamed of stars and transformation. Over the following weeks, Luna remained in her female form. She saw James regularly. What had started as a one-night stand evolved into something more, not quite a relationship, but not just casual sex either. They had dinner, went to movies, talked for hours. And yes, they had sex, lots of sex. Each encounter taught both Luna and the symbiote something new about the female body and its capacity for pleasure. "You have orgasmed 14 times tonight," the symbiote noted after one particularly enthusiastic session with James. He managed only 3. The disparity is notable. "Yeah, well, he seems happy enough with 3, Luna thought, watching James sleep beside her. True, male satisfaction appears less dependent on quantity. Luna explored her new life beyond just sex, though. She experienced the world as a beautiful woman, and it was eye-opening. The constant male attention was exhausting sometimes. Men stared at her on the street, in coffee shops, at the gym. Some were respectful, some were creepy. She got catcalled, hit on, propositioned constantly. But there were advantages, too. People were nicer to her. Doors were held open. Strangers smiled. She got better service at restaurants, got let into clubs without waiting, got free drinks at bars. Other women's reactions were mixed. Some were friendly and welcoming. Others were cold or competitive, seeing Luna as a threat. Luna discovered she liked women's fashion more than men's. Liked the variety, the colors, the way clothes could transform her appearance. She built a wardrobe that ranged from casual to elegant, enjoyed the ritual of getting dressed up. She experimented with her appearance too. The symbiote could adjust her features slightly. Different hair colors, different eye colors, subtle changes that kept her looking fresh. Sometimes she'd transform back to male, Logan for practical reasons. To file reports, to handle legal documents, to maintain the fiction that Logan Reed still existed. But those periods felt increasingly like an uncomfortable disguise. Being male felt wrong now, like wearing clothes that didn't fit. Logan's body felt awkward and limiting compared to Luna's. "I have NOTICED. You prefer the female form," the symbiote observed one evening. "You spend 90% of your time as Luna, only transforming to male when necessary." "Yeah," Luna admitted, looking at herself in the mirror, at her breasts, her curves, her feminine face. "It just feels more right somehow, more natural, even though technically it's not my original form." "Interesting. Perhaps your true identity was always female, and I simply allowed you to manifest it." Luna considered that. Had she always been meant to be female? Had there been some part of her that was always Luna, just waiting for the opportunity to emerge? Or was she just enjoying the novelty, the enhanced pleasure, the attention and advantages that came with being a beautiful woman? She didn't have answers, but she knew one thing for certain: she didn't want to go back to being Logan full-time. "Can you make it permanent?" Luna asked suddenly. "The female form, so I don't have to consciously maintain it, so it's just my default biology." "Yes," the symbiote responded. "I can set it as your default biology. I would rewrite your DNA to female AT, the chromosomal level. You would be permanently female unless you specifically requested to transform back to male." "Would I still be able to change back, if I needed to?" "Yes, but it would require deliberate effort. Female would be your natural state, your resting form." Luna looked at her reflection for a long moment, studying the woman staring back at her. Platinum blonde hair, large eyes, full lips, an incredible body that felt more like home than Logan's ever had. "Do it," Luna said without hesitation. "Are you certain this would make female your natural state, your permanent identity?" "I'm certain," Luna said firmly. "This is who I want to be. This is who I am now." "Very well, initiating permanent integration. This will take several minutes." The symbiote adjusted its bonding at the genetic level. Luna felt warmth spreading through her body as the symbiote rewrote her DNA, changing the fundamental code that defined her biology. Every cell was being rewritten, every chromosome altered, every genetic marker switched from male to female. The symbiote made every change permanent and natural. Luna's body would now default to female, would maintain this form without conscious effort. When it finished, Luna felt different. More settled, more complete, like something had clicked into place that had been misaligned before. She looked in the mirror at her female body, and it no longer felt like a transformation or a costume. It felt natural. It felt right. It felt like her. "Thank you," Luna said softly. "You are welcome, host," the symbiote replied. "Or, perhaps I should call you partner now. We have come far together." "Partner works," Luna smiled, touching her reflection in the mirror. "We're in this together now, you and me." She'd been transformed by an alien organism, but she'd chosen this. Chosen to embrace the female identity that felt more authentic than her male form ever had. Luna touched her face, ran her hands over her breasts between her legs. Felt the soft curves, the feminine anatomy, the body that was now permanently hers. This was her forever. Her and the symbiote, partners in this body, experiencing life together. And Luna couldn't wait to see what adventures awaited them. "What will you do now?" the symbiote asked. Luna considered. She could go back to geology, resume her old life. Or she could start fresh, become someone new, embrace the possibilities that came with transformation. "I don't know yet," Luna said honestly, "but I have a feeling it's going to be interesting. Indeed, I look forward to discovering it with you." Luna smiled at her reflection, at the beautiful woman who was now her permanent identity. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in her life, Luna felt truly comfortable in her own skin. And that was enough. 6 months later, Luna Reed, formerly Logan Reed, geologist and accidental host to an extraterrestrial organism, sat in a ridiculously expensive restaurant across from James, trying not to laugh at the absurdity of her life. "So let me get this straight," James said, twirling his wine glass. "You're telling me you've never had a period, not once in the 6 months I've known you." Luna took a delicate sip of her own wine, buying time. This was the problem with maintaining a secret alien symbiote. People eventually noticed the biological inconsistencies. "Tell him you have an IUD," the symbiote suggested helpfully. According to MY research, this suppresses menstruation in many women. "IUD," Luna said smoothly. "Suppresses the whole thing. One of the better decisions I've made, honestly." James raised an eyebrow. "Lucky you. My sister turns into a demon once a month. I'm pretty sure she threatened to stab me with a fork last visit." "Charming family dynamics," Luna said dryly. "He is not suspicious. Heart rate normal. Pupil dilation consistent with attraction, not doubt." "Good, because explaining, my alien parasite handles all my biology, would definitely kill the mood." "I prefer the term symbiote. Parasite is pejorative. You literally invaded my body without permission." "Minor detail." James leaned back in his chair, studying her with those dark eyes that still made Luna's stomach flip. "You know what's funny? Sometimes I feel like I barely know you. You're mysterious as hell." "Mystery is attractive, isn't it?" Luna countered, batting her eyelashes in a way that would have been impossible for Logan to pull off. "It is," James admitted, "though it also makes me wonder what you're hiding." Warning, he is becoming curious about your background. Recommend distraction. Luna leaned forward, giving James an excellent view of her cleavage in the low-cut dress she'd worn specifically for this purpose. "Want to get out of here? I can think of better things to do than talk about my medical history." James's eyes dropped to her breasts, then snapped back up to her face. He grinned. You're terrible. You love it. I really do, he signaled for the check. 20 minutes later, they were in James's apartment, and Luna was pressed against the wall with her dress hiked up around her waist. Arousal levels increasing, vaginal lubrication optimal, his erection is. I can feel it, thanks. Just providing data. James's fingers worked between her legs, stroking her clit with practiced skill. Luna moaned and arched against him. God, you're always so ready, James murmured against her neck. Technically, I maintain your arousal baseline slightly elevated. It enhances your pleasure response. You're like a biological Viagra. I prefer to think of myself as a performance enhancer. James lifted Luna easily, one of the perks of her new lighter frame, and carried her to the bedroom. They fell onto the bed in a tangle of limbs and clothing. 15 minutes later, Luna was riding him, her hands braced on his chest, her breasts bouncing with each movement. James gripped her hips, helping her move, his eyes locked on where their bodies joined. Orgasm approaching. Based on vaginal contractions, approximately 30 seconds. Luna increased her pace, grinding her clit against James's pelvis with each downward stroke. The pleasure built rapidly, that familiar tension coiling in her core. When she came, her vagina clenched rhythmically around James's cock, her back arched, her mouth fell open in a silent cry. The waves of pleasure crashed over her, each one prolonged and intense. Duration, 41 seconds. Intensity, 8.7 out of 10, respectable. James thrust up into her a few more times, then followed her over the edge, groaning as he came inside her. Luna collapsed onto his chest, both of them breathing hard. Jesus, James gasped. Every single time, you're incredible. He is correct. Your sexual performance is exceptional. Thanks to you. We are a team. After a shower and some post-sex cuddling, Luna was getting dressed when James's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then frowned. Shit, I forgot my sister's in town tomorrow. She wants to meet you. Luna paused in the act of pulling on her jeans. Meet me. Yeah, I might have mentioned I was seeing someone. She's insisting on the whole inspect my brother's girlfriend thing. He looked apologetic. I know we haven't really defined what this is, but... It's fine, Luna said, though her mind was racing. Meeting family was a big step, a step that required maintaining her cover story. This could be problematic. Family MEMBRS ask questions, they investigate backgrounds. I have a background, Logan had a background. Logan's background, not Luna's. Details. She's kind of intense, James warned. Lawyer, very protective, will probably grill you about your intentions. My intentions, Luna raised an eyebrow. What is this 1950? She's traditional about some things. He pulled Luna into his arms, but if you're not comfortable. I'll do it, Luna decided. How hard could it be? She'd been maintaining the Logan Reed persona for 6 months. She could handle one dinner with James's sister. Famous last words. Luna met Sarah Chen, James's older sister, at an upscale bistro the following evening. Sarah was sharp-eyed, immaculately dressed, and had the kind of presence that probably made witnesses crack on the stand. Luna, Sarah said, shaking her hand with a grip that was just slightly too firm. Lovely to finally meet the woman who's been occupying my brother's time. Likewise, Luna said, matching the grip. James has told me a lot about you. I'm sure none of it was flattering. Sarah sat down with the precision of someone who did everything with purpose. So, Logan Reed, James says you work in environmental consulting. Luna had prepared this cover story carefully. It was close enough to geology that she could fake the technical details. That's right, corporate sustainability assessments mostly. Interesting, and you grew up where? Perth, moved to Sydney about 6 months ago. She is studying you, looking for inconsistencies. I noticed. Funny, Sarah said casually. I have a friend in Perth, Amanda Peterson. She's in environmental work too, you might know her. It was a test. Luna could see it in Sarah's eyes. Can't say I do, Luna said smoothly. Perth is a big city, and I was pretty focused on field work. Didn't socialize much in the industry circles. Good recovery. Sarah sipped her water. And your family? Small, quiet, not much to tell. Luna deflected, redirecting quickly. James mentioned you just closed a big case. Sarah's eyes gleamed. She recognized the deflection but seemed to appreciate the tactical skill. I did. Patent infringement. Nasty little battle. The opposing counsel was incompetent, which made it almost boring. They spent the next hour talking, Sarah probing with the precision of a surgeon while Luna parried with practiced ease. It was exhausting, like playing chess against a grandmaster. Her heart rate indicates she remains suspicious, but SHE also appears to like you. That's something, I guess. When James arrived, he'd been delayed at work. Sarah stood to leave. Luna, it was illuminating, she said, and Luna couldn't tell if that was good or bad. James, don't screw this up. She's too good for you. After Sarah left, James collapsed into the chair beside Luna. Well, how bad was it? She threatened to run a background check on me, Luna said. She was joking, probably. She also said I was too good for you. She definitely meant that, James grinned. But seriously, she liked you. If she didn't, you'd know, there would have been blood. Speaking of blood, we have a problem. What kind of problem? I have detected anomalous activity in your bloodstream. Analyzing now. Luna felt a flutter of concern. James, I need to get going, early morning tomorrow. Sure, I'll walk you out. In the taxi ride home, Luna kept her expression neutral while the symbiote ran diagnostics. What's wrong? Nothing is wrong, precisely, but I have detected elevated hormone levels, specifically human chorionic gonadotropin. In English, you are pregnant. Luna nearly choked. I'm what? The taxi driver glanced in the rearview mirror. Luna waved apologetically and lowered her voice. How is that possible? You control my biology. I control most of your biology, but I designed your reproductive system to be fully functional. Apparently, THAT includes fertility. We've been having sex for months. Why now? Probability, contraceptive failure, the biological imperative of reproduction. Take your pick. Luna's mind raced. Pregnant. She was pregnant with James's baby, while hosting an alien symbiote that had turned her from a man into a woman 6 months ago. This was not in the plan. Should I terminate the pregnancy? I can reabsorb the embryonic tissue. No, maybe, I don't know. Luna pressed her hands to her face. Give me a minute to process this. Take your time. THOGH, biologically speaking, the optimal window for termination is. Not helping. When Luna got back to her apartment, she'd kept Logan's old place, though she'd redecorated extensively. She paced the living room for an hour. Pregnant. The word kept bouncing around her skull like a pinball. She'd been female for 6 months, had embraced it, enjoyed it, made it permanent, but this was different. This was the kind of consequence that lasted 18 years minimum. Can you tell how far along I am? Approximately 3 weeks, very early stage. So I have time to decide. Yes, THOUGH, I should mention, the embryo is developing normally. No abnormalities. If you wish to carry to term, I can monitor and optimize the pregnancy. Eliminate most complications. You can do that. I can do many things. Pregnancy optimization is relatively simple. THOUGH, I should warn YOU, childbirth will be painful. I can minimize the pain but not eliminate it entirely without affecting your neural function. Luna sat down heavily on her couch. A baby. She could have a baby. The thought was surreal. 6 months ago, she'd been Logan Reed, male geologist. Now she was Luna Reed, woman, potential mother. Do you have an opinion on this? I am neutral. The choice affects your biology, which I manage. But the decision is fundamentally yours. I am your partner, not your controller. That's surprisingly respectful. I have learned much about human autonomy from OUR partnership. Also, I am curious about pregnancy and childbirth from an experiential perspective, but not curious enough to influence your decision. Luna appreciated that, actually. The symbiote could have easily manipulated her biology or her thoughts. Instead, it was leaving the choice to her. I need to think about this. Of course. Luna spent 3 days thinking. She researched pregnancy, childbirth, parenthood, Read forums, watched videos, absorbed information. She thought about James. They weren't in a committed relationship, but they'd been seeing each other exclusively for months. He was a good man, kind, funny, responsible. She thought about herself, about Luna, who she'd become, who she wanted to be. And she thought about the impossibility of her situation. A baby conceived by a woman who used to be a man, who was bonded to an alien organism, who had only existed in female form for 6 months. It was insane. But then again, her entire life had become insane the moment she'd opened that containment jar. On the 4th day, Luna made her decision. She called James. "Can you come over? We need to talk." He arrived within an hour, looking concerned. "What's wrong?" Luna gestured to the couch. "Sit down." James sat, his expression wary. "You're scaring me. What's going on?" "I'm pregnant," Luna said bluntly. The color drained from James's face. "You're what?" "Pregnant about 3 weeks. I found out a few days ago." James opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "But you said you had an IUD. Technically, you lied about that." "Not helping." "I was wrong about that," Luna said. "Turns out I was just lucky until I wasn't." James ran his hands through his hair. Okay, wow, have you decided what you want to do?" "I want to keep it," Luna said. "But I need to know where you stand. We haven't exactly defined this relationship, and I'm not going to trap you into something you don't want." James was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Can I be honest?" "Please." "I'm terrified," he admitted. "I wasn't planning on kids yet. I barely know how to take care of myself. But," he looked up at her and his expression softened, "but the idea of having a kid with you, that's not terrible. That's actually kind of amazing." Luna felt something loosen in her chest. Yeah, he reached for her hand. "I'm not saying I'm ready. I'm not saying I won't panic approximately 300 times before this kid is born. But I'm saying I'm in, if you want me to be." His heart rate is elevated but steady. Oxytocin levels increasing. He is sincere. "I want you to be," Luna said softly. James pulled her into his arms. "Okay then, we're doing this, we're having a baby." "Congratulations." I believe the appropriate human response is to feel terrified and excited simultaneously. Nailed it, Luna thought. The pregnancy was surprisingly easy, thanks to the symbiote. No morning sickness, the symbiote announced proudly in the 2nd month. "I am managing your hormone levels to prevent nausea." "You're the best parasite ever," Luna said, eating ice cream directly from the container. "Symbiote." "Right, symbiote." James moved in with her in the 3rd month. They converted Logan's old office into a nursery. Luna experienced the bizarre joy of shopping for baby clothes, while the symbiote provided running commentary on optimal fabric choices for infant skin sensitivity. "Organic cotton, definitely organic cots." "You're nesting." "I am optimizing." Sarah Chen remained suspicious but supportive. "There's something off about you," she told Luna during a baby shower in month 7. "I can't put my finger on it, but you make my brother happy, so I'll allow it." "How generous," Luna said dryly. "Also, if you hurt him, I will destroy you." "Noted." "I like her, she is direct." The biggest challenge was maintaining the cover story. Luna had to forge documents, create a fake history, establish Luna Reed as a real person with a real past. The symbiote helped, using its alien biology to interface with computer systems in ways that Luna didn't ask too many questions about. "Your identity is now secure," the symbiote announced one evening. Birth certificate, school records, employment history, all verified and cross-referenced. Luna Reed EXISTS. And Logan, officially on extended leave in remote field locations. Email responses automated. Eventually, we can fake his death if necessary. Cheerful thought. Practical. Luna gave birth on a Tuesday in February. The pain was significant despite the symbiote's best efforts, and Luna spent several hours cursing biology, James, and the universe in general. Contractions intensifying, cervix fully dilated, prepare for final stage. "I hate you," Luna gasped. "You love me." I really hate you right now. Understandable. When the baby finally emerged, a healthy girl with James's dark hair and Luna's eyes, Luna felt something shift inside her. This was her daughter, hers and James's. A completely new person who existed because Luna had chosen this life, this body, this identity. She's perfect, James said, tears streaming down his face. Luna couldn't speak, could only hold her daughter and marvel at the impossibility of it all. She is indeed perfect, the symbiote said softly. Congratulations, Luna, you have created life. We created life, Luna corrected. You made this possible. We are partners. They named her Stella, Star, because Luna had come from the stars, and this little girl was their brightest light. Epilogue 1 year later. Luna sat in a park, watching Stella toddle around on unsteady legs while James hovered nearby, ready to catch her when she fell. It had been almost 2 years since she'd opened that containment jar in the Australian Outback. 2 years since the symbiote had bonded with her, transformed her, changed her life completely. She was engaged now. James had proposed 3 months ago, and Luna had said yes without hesitation. Sarah had insisted on planning the wedding and was currently terrorizing vendors across Sydney. Stella babbled something that might have been mama or might have been banana. It was hard to tell, and Luna's heart swelled. You are content, the symbiote observed. I am, Luna agreed. No RGRTS about your former life. Luna considered, did she miss being Logan, miss being male? Not even a little bit. Logan had been comfortable but constrained. Luna was complicated but free. No regrets, she confirmed. You gave me a gift. We gave each other GIFTS. You showed me what it means to be human. I showed you what it means to be yourself. Philosophical today, aren't we? I have been reading poetry. It is growing on me. Luna laughed aloud, drawing looks from other parents in the park. What's so funny? James asked, scooping up Stella. Just thinking about how weird my life is, Luna said. Weird how? Weird good, weird perfect. She stood and kissed him, then kissed Stella's chubby cheek. Weird like I wouldn't change a thing. Even me, the symbiote asked. Especially you, Luna thought. You're the best alien invader a girl could ask for. I am the only alien invader you have. Still the best. As they walked home together, James, Luna, and Stella, plus the alien symbiote that only Luna knew about, Luna reflected on the strange journey that had brought her here. She'd been transformed by an organism from the stars, had changed from male to female, from Logan to Luna, from alone to partnered to a parent. It was impossible, it was ridiculous, it was wonderful. And Luna Reed, formerly Logan Reed, geologist and accidental host to an extraterrestrial symbiote, had never been happier. Same time tomorrow for our usual existential discussion, the symbiote asked. Wouldn't miss it, Luna thought, smiling. After all, when you were bonded to an alien organism that had given you a completely new life, the least you could do was keep it entertained.